Welcome back to Tea Time with a Technology Advisor. Hi, Scott. What sort of new and fun cup do you have for us today?
Well, I must admit it's getting harder to come up with new and fun cups. I have my from Japan cup that I picked up while I was touring Japan one time, a long time ago. I guess it's a teacup or it could be sake. Could be one of those.
I like it. Petite little teacup. I have I don't know if this will work, Steamboat.
Lovely.
Colorado cup because that's where I live and it's very snowy and wintry out today.
And you even had a tea bag in there too. I'm
impressed. I do. I'm literally drinking tea at Tea Time with a Technology Advisor. Okay, so today we're getting closer and closer to the end of the ammonia plant, and today we're going to talk about methanation. Finding a topic for methanation, I feel like was a little bit tricky because in general, the most common reason that people change out their methanation catalyst, which lasts 10 to 20 years, is to do a vessel inspection. However, in the years of experience that Clarent has with ammonia catalyst, we have received inquiries related to issues with the methanator. So today we're going to cover some of that. Let's start with the question, if you are not changing out your catalyst because you need to do a vessel inspection, what is the second most common reason that people change out their methanation catalyst?
Well, one issue that can occur with methanation catalyst is carryover from your upstream CO2 removal systems, whether it's MDEA, catacarb, Benfield, or other solvents. And typically, CO2 solution carryover comes from an upset, such as foaming, higher rates, or poorly regenerated solutions. And carryover of the solution can lead to then deposition on the catalyst active sites. And that shows up as a reduction in the exotherm in the top of the bed. And when you have such events like that, it's also normally accompanied by something like CO2 breakthrough. And that extra concentration of CO2 in the feed to the methanator, and it can be very high, can result in potential temperature spikes in your methanator. And then those temperature spikes, depending on how they get, can cause thermal sintering and deactivation of your nickel catalyst. And that in turn can cause a process trip too if the temperature gets too high. And so these types of events can then show up as increased CO and CO2 leakage on the methanator outlet.
Absolutely. And if you see the CO or CO2 leakage in your methanator outlet, like Scott said, this could be a sign of reduced catalyst activity due to CO2 solvent carryover. However, we've also had customers come to us and they said, we have high CO2, and it is actually a result of a feed effluent exchanger leak. So if you have a feed effluent exchanger leak, some of your methanator feed gas might be essentially bypassing and ending up in the bypassing the methanator and ending up in the methanator outlet gas, which shows up as, oh my gosh, the methanator is not doing what it's supposed to do. The catalyst is not doing what it's supposed to. We have CO2 leakage. However, just something to keep in mind, that the methanator itself might be fine, the catalyst might be fine. You just have a portion of your feed gas bypassing your methanator with your feed effluent exchanger leak.
Yeah, very true. This has actually happened on quite a number of occasions and usually shows up as poisoning and loss of performance in your ammonia syn catalyst. And to pinpoint this issue, you really do need to take a sample directly downstream of the methanator and check for CO2 there, because often those analyzers are actually further downstream, closer to the ammonia converter. So that'll help you then narrow down the problem to whether it's a heat exchanger leak or an issue with the methanator itself.
Awesome. Thanks, Scott. For our next and maybe final in this series, Tea Time with the Technology Advisor, we'll talk about ammonia synthesis.
Sounds great. Cheers.